Good morning, one and all. I'm Harsha from Vardhaman College of Engineering. And today we are going to do a React Node JS application development by using the database PostgresQL, which was a task-based assessment given by the Zithara technologies. This was actually the round 2 which was being conducted instead of the coding round. Here, they asked us to create a web page, a single page website, a single page web application by using a React and Node.js application with a PostgreSQL database. And here, what we're exactly doing is that we will use the front end for React and the back end for Node.js development. And the PostgreSQL database should be connected to the Node.js application. They asked us to create 50 records in the database with the column fields, serial number, customer age, phone, location, and created it. And all the data should be the dummy data. They should not be taken from any other source. Okay, so and they also need us to create a single page application to display all the above data. It should be in a tabular format, and the page ignition should be 20 records per page. And then there's one more condition that they created the final column that should be displayed in two separate columns like date and time. And the search functionality will search the data by column name and location. Okay, there should be an option to sort the data by date or by time. Okay, at first when we come to the database, we use PostgreSQL, that is PSQL. We can find it here. When we install that, this terminal will be open, and we all need to give the credentials here to log in. And then when it comes to the database, okay, I created the serial number as the primary key, and it should be increased by one after each entity was inserted. And then the customer name was varchar, age is integer, and phone is varchar, location is also varchar, and the timestamp created at this has something like a timestamp with time zone array, timestamp with time zone without array, and timestamp without time zone array, timestamp without time zone without array. So we use timestamp with time zone without array because uh, they asked us to create something that this created at column should be deferred as the date and time. Only timestamp with time zone can do that, and without time zone could not give you the difference between the date and the time. Okay, yeah, and then these are the 50 dummy rows. I have included the location as Pakistan, Norway, India, Canada, Germany, Paris, and I wantedly gave some locations like unknown locations. Yeah, and then phone numbers start from 1 to 50 according to the serial number, and then the customer names was the random names. In the age, I have particularly described between 22 to 35. That's our comfort to do that. Yeah, okay. And then when coming to the development side, I basically created uh, one folder for backend development, that's Node.js, and another one for front end, that is reactjs. When it comes to the Node modules, we need to install the npm init -y. It installs all the dependencies locally, and then this is the front end part using the react.js. In this source file we have the app.js file, and here we make all the front end development through JavaScript, HTML, and also I have included a CSS file to look it more beautiful and somewhat attractive. And when it comes to the node modules, it always deals with the backend part. Okay, and then when come to the package.json, it's always important to define here the axios. Due to some technical glitch, when we make npm install axios, it doesn't seems to be added in the dependencies. So you need to make sure that this axios was installed and it was in the dependency zone. And then at scripts you can use the React script start, and also you can use the node app.js from the backend, but most of the times it fails to start because uh, we are giving both same port numbers. Like I have used the port 3000 in React as well as the node modules. Yes, and then when it comes to the front end part, I have included a concept of a fetch data to fetch the data that was in the backend to the website, and then after that the page pagination was being created, and then this will finally returns a HTML document which gives us the table and everything. In footer I just included the copyrights of Zithara, and then uh, this was my written statement. In every React page there should be a written statement with a good HTML context, and the app.css here defines that I have given a background image URL. I have taken it from the Google because that should be covered and centered with. I did not make it repeated because that should be a bit blurred to make the data on the web page clearly visible. Yes, and I have created a container, and then this was the header, and this was the basic cascading style sheet. And then when come to the server.js, here we use cores. Cores is basically a cross origin. So it when we are using two different ports, this was highly helpful. And here API by public is the API end key. This was a highly required and highly informationable resource, because when we are using an API, you should only declare the endpoint till which you are comfortable with and till which you need to show the details and data to the customer. Here, this public is my it's a name of my table in the Zithara DB database. Yeah, okay. And then this is a query, and this was written to just whether the data was fetched successfully or not. If an error, it shows the internal service error, and it may show us the server is running on which port. Okay, and then when it comes to the app.js, we are we are configuring the database, and in that we need to give all our credentials like user. This Postgres is the default user of the PostgreSQL database, and then host, I choose the local host. You may choose the 127.0.1 point something of our IP address. It's our wish to go through something. And then the database is Zithara DB, which I have created in here. This was created for this project. And then the password is system, and the port number is 5432. This is the default port for the PostgreSQL database, and this is a query to select, and if an error, it will return the console, and then the query result. So when it comes to the package.json, I explicitly install some dependencies of course, express, pg, and react table. Here the course is installed by npm install cors, and then express is installed by npm install express, and then pg is installed by npm install express pg, and then react table is also in the same way by npm install react table. And then I have installed some dev dependencies. This was actually not used. And then when we come to the original package.json in the React file, here the script should be this. We can also use another script and make sure that the DOM, read scripts, and Axios scripts and React are these dependencies should be in the package.json file, and these are just the normal packages. And when we come to the deployment of this, we just go to the node terminal, and after getting into the new terminal, just navigate to the backend part first. That is cd space node modules. After navigating it there, we just start npm start. Now here the server is running on port 3000. You can see this basically here oh, yes, in server.js here. So this was the thing that was being printing. The server is running on port. Which port the server is running? It was running on 3000 port because I declared 3000. If the port 3000 is not free on your local system, you can use a different port. And after open another new terminal, yeah, you can see the multiple terminals that was being used here, and this was used for the node, and this was for the React application. So when we are working out with the React application, yeah, you can just navigate to the React page, that Zithara Spark. I named it SPA because it was a single page application and required for the Zithara technologies. And after navigating it there, we just start. Here it will ask that the 3000 port is being used by the nodejs server. So it will, would you like to run the app on another port instead? We should choose to be yes, because when the port is busy with some other application or server, it will automatically go somewhere. So this was the thing that came back. Now we primarily check things that they require. Create 50 records in database with the following column fields: serial number, customer name, age, phone, location, created it. And then they said that the created it column has to be displayed in two separate columns as date and time. Uh, yes, so serial number, customer name, age, phone number, location, date, and time. All these were being shown here, and then the date and time was shown in two different columns. Okay, and then uh, it should be a single page application. It should have a search option and page ignition with 20 records per page. And yeah, as you can see, there are only 20 records per page. This page have 20 records, and this have 20, and this will have only 10 records because the total number of records are 50. And we can search some persons by name or location. Let us suppose the name of the person was Ravan. Okay, so that was been shown here. And by the location, I'll prefer India. So there are these people from India, so we can search it like that. And after, there should be an option to sort the data either by date or the time. Okay, so by the date, so the data was being sorted by the date. Sorry, and by the time, yeah, the data was also being getting sorted by the time. So this was the web page that was being asked to design by Zithara Technologies. Yeah, and then the most important point is that while using Axios, it might also be used to give a 500 error. And the, the basic error was the 404 not found error. Most of the people do this wantedly. It's not an actual error. The Axios error is not an actual error that was being produced by the file not found. It was an error that was wantedly defining to be as an output in a web page, because not every person should see the exact data inside the web page. So we may use Axios to make it a 404 error. Yeah, so and then I have uploaded it in the GitHub, in my GitHub, and I have named it Zithara Round-2. Yeah, these are my node modules. That's backend. And this is the front end Zithara single page application, and this is the package JSON files, and this is the server file. Yeah, okay. And after this, we just could terminate this web page and also the backend part. Yeah, and that's it. Thank you.